Hi viewers, welcome back to the 424 Soccer channel where we analyze the World Cup matches, we predict the scores, and we give you some of the news coming out from Qatar 2022. Now, there are 8 teams now remaining in the competition. It is getting very crunchy now. So the quarterfinal matches have been slated for December 9 and 10. That's Friday, Saturday of this week. Now let us look at the teams, how they fared so far, what strategies they have in place, why we think one team will defeat the other. And now on Friday, December 9, the first quarterfinal is between Croatia and Brazil. And that comes up at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, coming up to this stage, the Croatians have scored 5 goals and conceded 2. The Brazilians have scored 7 and conceded 2. So you can see that, their defensive line is about the same, even though they did not meet the same team in their group stages. Now in the round of 16, Croatia defeated Japan after extra time in penalty shootout by 3-1. And Brazil defeated South Korea within regulation time by 4-1. So we can see that the Brazilians are getting momentum now. They are peaking, They started the first match not very good, the second not very good, and they lost the third match to Cameroon. That was the third group match. And after that, we have seen that they have displayed so much finesse and tactics, especially in the match against South Korea, where they scored and danced and scored and danced. The Croatians, on the other hand, they were taken to their limits by Japan. The match ended, within regulation time. There was no winner. They got into extra time, no winner, and then penalty shootout. So at this stage, I want to say that the odds favor the Brazilians, not just because of the stars they have or the caliber or pedigree of players they have, but because Brazil in their knockout match did not extend into extra time. On the other hand, the Croatians played extra 30 minutes and then went into the rigors of penalty shootout. So they must have been, they were more, exhausted than the Brazilians. So what do we expect? We expect the Brazilians to win the Croatians. My prediction is that Brazil will score 2, Croatia will be 0. Now the Brazilians, we have seen that they do not depend on one player to score the goals. Up front, they have Richarlison, Neymar is back, they have Vinicius Jr., they have Casemiro, who is a rock in the midfield there. So, and then they have a kind of very slick midfielder that plays with Casemiro. That is Paqueta. Paqueta scored in the last match against South Korea. He was one of the scorers there. Now, and then for Croatia, they have Perisic, who plays for Tottenham Hotspur. They have Gvardiol, who has been a revelation. He has been a very good defender before now, but it's really, really coming up. And I can see why a lot of teams want him. A lot of teams, including Chelsea and many other top teams in Europe, they want that defender. Now, we also have ageless Luka Modric, who plays for Real Madrid. This guy is 38 years old, but he's still alive and kicking. We have their goalkeeper, Livakovic. He has been very good because he actually kept out the Japanese during the penalty shootout. So, by prediction, the Brazilians will carry the day by 2-0. And then the next knockout match, the next quarterfinal match on December 9 is between the Netherlands and Argentina. Now, the Netherlands are ranked number 8, the Argentines number 3. So you can see that by FIFA ranking, the Argentines are way up there. But I do not see the Argentines beating the Dutch, because coming into this match, the Dutch have scored 8 goals and conceded 2. The Argentines have scored 7 and conceded 3. I know it wasn't in the same group, but in the round of 16, the Dutch defeated USA. It was a highly contested game, but the Dutch defeated USA by 3 goals to nothing. The Argentines struggled to beat Australia by 2 goals to 1. So actually, the Argentines have stars like Lionel Messi, Angel Di Maria, Alvarez of Man City, even Lisandro Martinez, the Man U defender, as well as De Paul, who sits in the midfield there. The Argentines have players, individual players, but they are yet to really gel as a team. In the last match against Australia, it was Lionel Messi that bailed them out. So, but on the other hand, you see that the Dutch are, like they are gelling very well. They have Dumfries, who plays right wing back. They have Daley Blind, who plays left wing back. And they have the central defense is very solid. They can choose. They have De Ligt, who plays for Bayern Munich, who doesn't even play all the matches. They have Virgil van Dijk, who is a solid defender. He plays for Liverpool FC in the Premier League. Virgil van Dijk has been proving so well. And then they have in the midfield, a midfield general, Frankie de Jong. He has been pulling the strings. So, and then in the attack, they have this Gakpo, who has been scoring. I think it's only in the last match that he didn't score. And then they have Memphis Depay. They have players. The Dutch have been coming together and gelling. Their very first match against Senegal was not that very impressive. But after that, they have been doing well and they've been progressing. So I see the Dutch beating Argentina by 1 goal to nothing, because the Dutch they play more like a team. The Argentines play more like individuals. So, and then that in competitions, in tournaments, as it gets hotter, little mistakes can send you home. Little mistakes can make you concede goals. So I look at the back line of the Dutch and give it to them, the back line and the front line. I know that there's Lionel Messi, but this match might be tactically won. And I see Louis van Gaal, the Dutch coach, as being a veteran when it comes to tactical nows. So I give it to the Dutch. Then on December 10, match day 19, is the second day of the quarterfinals. At 10 a.m. Eastern Time, December 10, will be the match between Morocco and Portugal. Now, Morocco has become giant killers in this tournament. They won their group. Nobody expected them to qualify, honestly. Nobody expected them to qualify. They qualified from their group, not just qualifying, but they topped the group. And then in the round of 16, nobody expected them to defeat the Spaniards. They defeated the Spaniards. One thing going for the Moroccans is their defense. They have not conceded any goal from any opposition. They've scored four goals, conceded 1. But the only goal they conceded was an own goal by their defender. So no opposition team has actually scored them, even when they have conceded 1. So they've scored 4 goals, conceded 1 own goal. And then the Portuguese have scored 12 goals and conceded 5. So if you look at the defense line, the Moroccan defense is rock solid. The Portuguese defense, not that solid. The Portuguese attack is more potent. The Moroccan attack is somehow here and there. So I see the Portuguese taking it to the Moroccans always, and Moroccans depending on fast breaks, to counter the attack. But I will eventually give this match to the Portuguese. The reason is obvious. There is fatigue setting in. Fatigue most likely are setting in the Moroccans because they played extra time against the Spaniards, and then went into penalty kicks, and then even within the run of play, there were a lot of players who were having cramps, injuries, and so on the Moroccan side, especially their two central defenders. Saiz, towards the end of the match, was limping. Sure, they had to bandage his thigh for him to, continue and finish the match. So I see Saiz not very fit for the match, and then the other central defender was taken off, before the end of the match. So that again will affect how the Moroccans defend. And so I see the Portuguese taking the day because they have players like Cristiano Ronaldo. Even if he doesn't play, they have other players like Gonzalo Ramos, the guy who scored the hat trick when they defeated the Swiss by 6-1. So, and then they have Rafael Leao, who is playing for AC Milan, very potent. A lot of clubs want him. And then they have Bruno Fernandes, who is very good in the midfield. Sometimes he's used in the attack. I know for Morocco, they have one of the best goalkeepers in the tournament, Bono. That guy single-handedly kept Morocco to overcome the Spaniards. They have Hakimi, who plays right back. Sometimes he overlaps. They have Amrabat, who is a midfield anchor or general. And they have Hakim Ziyech, who is also a very good player. And then, so I see the Moroccans are good, but injuries and extra time they had is going to count against them. And this is where the Portuguese will take advantage to beat them by 2-1. Then comes the final quarter-final match between England and France. This is another tough one to call. But coming into this tournament, England is placed number 5 in FIFA ranking. France number 4. So you see there is very little difference between England and France when it comes to the FIFA ranking. And come to think of it, England scored 12 goals and conceded 2, up to this stage. France scored 9 and conceded 4. So when you look at it, you see that the French defense might be a bit porous, while that of England is tighter. And then the England attack is said to be tight, although they were flattered by the first match against Iran, because after that match, they couldn't score so many goals except against the Senegal. And we know that the Senegalese played very well during the knockouts round of 16. The Senegalese played very well, but they were just naive. In the first half of that match, Senegal were better. In the second half, Senegal collapsed, and then England scored 3 goals, in total to win Senegal. Whereas France defeated Poland by 3-1. So the two attacks are good. And then when you look at the midfield, France has a very good midfield. They have Tchouaméni, they have Antoine Griezmann. Let me tell you, in this World Cup, Griezmann has really improved. He hasn't been a player that people really talk about, but in this World Cup, the coach moved him from attack and put him in the midfield. Now, Griezmann has been pulling the string. If you watch how France plays, Griezmann, every ball passes through Griezmann. He kind of is the distributor, whereas Tchouaméni becomes what we call the destroyer. So France has a very good destroyer, and they have a very good distributor of the ball. And then they have Oliver Giroud, who can score even at half chances. He's the highest scorer for France now with 52 goals in the national team. So, and then they have Kylian Mbappe, who is a nightmare for any defender. So now in England, they have Harry Kane. Yes, Harry Kane is potent. Sometimes he drops into the midfield. They have Phil Foden, who is a very talented, skillful young player. They have Bukayo Saka, who plays for Arsenal. This guy, is very good. And they have Declan Rice, who also sits in the midfield as a destroyer, while Jude Bellingham is the one that is the midfielder that goes forward. So there is man for man. France and England is balanced. So it will now depend on the tactical nous of the two coaches or individual mistakes of players for one team to beat the other. But I give it to France. I give it to the French to beat England by 2-1. Why I'm saying so is this: individually, if you look at the French defense, you have Raphael Varane, who is stable and solid. They have Upamecano. They have Konate. These are solid central defenders. These players rarely make mistakes. But when you come to England defense, you have Harry Maguire, you have John Stone, in the central defense. These players sometimes make careless mistakes. Some in one match they are very good, in the other they make silly mistakes. So it is a match. It will be a match of nerves, and that is where I give it to the French guys. Let us see how it's gonna go. Please subscribe to the channel, the 424 Soccer channel. Click the notification button and like the video. Please, you can leave your comment. Let us see whether you agree with our scoreline and predictions and analysis. Thank you so much. See you after the quarterfinal matches, when we will be back to preview the semi-final matches. Bye-bye and thank you.